Are you planning to visit Florence, Italy, and looking for tips on what to see, do, and eat? This Florence travel guide has all the essentials you need for an amazing trip. Whether you are visiting for the stunning art and architecture, a romantic escape, or to experience the most incredible Italian food you've ever had, this place is going to steal your heart. I will be going over when the best time to visit is, accommodation options, what there is to do, obviously, the food, and much more. Be sure to stay tuned for plenty of tips to help you on your first trip to Florence. Ciao Bella, welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, I'm Jasmine. Thank you for joining me. Let's go. One of the most important parts of planning your trip to Florence is when to go. Choose the wrong time and you'll be fighting the masses and a lot of the charm will be lost. Try to avoid August at all costs. Not only can it get super hot during this month, but the city is absolutely packed with tourists. The shoulder seasons of spring and fall are the best times to visit, when the days are still sunny, but the temperatures are more ideal for sightseeing and will be much more enjoyable with less crowds. I will mention that if you actually prefer to visit in summer and don't mind the crowds, sometimes it does add to the atmosphere, then La Dolce Vita is in full swing during these months. Festivals are everywhere and there's always a reason to party. So if that's your style, then the best time to visit would be June to August. Winter in Florence is December to March and crowds are at a minimum. Theater and opera season is in full swing, and you can start your Christmas shopping at the festive markets around the city. You might be wondering how many days are ideal to visit Florence, and although Florence is only quite small, you might be surprised at how much there is to do. I would say 4 days to a week would be perfect, as you can easily take day trips to the surrounding areas, as well as tours. So now you know when the best time to visit Florence is. Let's talk about how you actually get there. Traveling to Florence is pretty straightforward. Peretola is the main airport in Florence, Italy, and has flights arriving from major cities throughout Europe. The best and cheapest option to get from the airport to Florence is to use the tram system. It's around 15 minutes from the Santa Maria Novella train station and costs around $150. Once you get to the train station, it's only a 10-minute walk to the very center of Florence. Or if you don't fancy walking, then a taxi will cost around $25, and there is no Uber here. If you are flying to Pisa's Galileo Galilei Airport, this is around 1 hour away on the tram. If you are visiting Florence on a budget, I would recommend looking into flying to the larger airport hubs of Rome or Milan, as your chances of finding good deals are more likely. It is a little further to travel, but it's still easily doable using the tram system. Once you have made it to Florence, the best way to get around is just by foot. I wouldn't hire a car here unless you want to get lost, trust me. And parking is a nightmare here. You can walk across the center of the city in less than 30 minutes, so this is your best option. Florence has a good bus system too, so you can utilize this when your feet need a rest. You can use taxis, but they can be pricey, and the meters start at €3, and prices go up on an evening. And as I mentioned before, remember, there is no Uber here. Florence is truly magical, and if you're visiting Florence for the first time, staying in the city center is a must to experience staying where all the atmosphere is. And if you're like me and love the feeling of living like a local, meeting the host and having your own kitchen, then staying in an Airbnb is the most ideal. You can find some amazing places this way, and is a completely different experience than staying in a hotel. You can rent anywhere from a cute guest house to an apartment and even a multi-bedroom house. Whether you want to stay in a hotel or Airbnb it, you will have a ton of choices. Santa Croce is the perfect area to stay in as it has some small bars around there and is in walking distance to all the attractions. South of the Duomo, the area by the river, and just west of Ponte alla Carraia is the place to be if you want to have a luxury and quiet stay. Here you will find a lot of the more luxury hotels. If money was no object, I would choose here to stay, for sure. North of the Duomo is best for those on a budget. It is a little quieter than others as it's further away from the action, but the area has a lovely atmosphere and you can find some good deals here. Just do your research thoroughly before booking. There's so many things to see and do whilst in Florence, you might be thinking you don't have time to see it all. And whilst that is absolutely true, with a week-long visit you can pack in loads of activities. Florence is a museum lover's dream, so strolling the world-class museums is a huge draw, along with sampling the world-famous Tuscan wines and discovering the fascinating history. You will be blown away by the food and restaurant scene. I would absolutely recommend booking a food tour here to make the most of it. So, where should you check out first? Well, when thinking about Florence, Ponte Vecchio is certainly one of the first attractions that comes to mind, and for good reasons. It's the only bridge in Florence spared from destruction during World War II, and the actual structure we admire today was built in 1345. Today it is full of jewelers, art dealers, and souvenir stores. The most interesting part about it is the fascinating secret passages. Vasari Corridor is the passageway that goes from Palazzo Vecchio, the Uffizi Gallery, over the Ponte Vecchio and into the Botticelli Gardens. I mean, it's not such a secret anymore, but it's become an icon of this city, and it's a must-see for any visitor. Next up, head to the iconic Mercato Centrale. This indoor market is a great place to stop for one of the best culinary experiences in Florence. It's the perfect place to get your hands on the best fruits, vegetables, cheeses, meats, and other yummy treats that come from the Tuscany region. It's not only food they have here, it is also a great place to buy leather goods, clothes, and some authentic Italian souvenirs. Also, make sure to visit the top floor. Here you'll find some of the region's top cooks, so you'll have the opportunity to taste a great meal in a very casual atmosphere. You will also find amazing street food vendors up there too. Then we have Santa Maria del Fiore. This really is the symbol of Florence, and the most popular thing to do here, so this has to be a must visit. The strong pink and green bands and the incredibly intricate details make it so beautiful to see. And during the day, it seems to change color depending on the position of the sun. It's one of the largest cathedrals in the world and has the world's largest dome. Visitors are allowed on the top of the dome to have an incredible city view, but it takes around 500 steps to climb to get there. Although it is free to enter and explore on your own, they do also offer paid guided museum tours. And if you want to do this, then definitely plan ahead and book, as the tickets sell out weeks in advance. One of the most fun, fulfilling, and exciting things to do when you visit Florence is to head out on a relaxing day trip into the beautiful Tuscan countryside, to get a taste or two of the wines for which this region is known for. Consider joining a tour to fully enjoy the experience and the wine, or you could even rent a car for the day and drive yourself and make a real day of it. Tuscany is full of charming small towns, impressive wineries, and stunning scenery for you to see. And if you do plan to visit Tuscany, be sure to add the hot springs to your itinerary. They are beautiful over there. For the best photo opportunities, head to Piazzale Michelangelo. From this 19th century piazza, you will get a breathtaking view of the city. Admire the winding river Arno, the iconic Uffizi Gallery, the Santa Croce Basilica, Tuscan hills, and so much more. For the best experience, visit at sunset and bring your own picnic or grab some food and wine at one of the local shops. If you're here for a romantic trip, then this is a must. It's one of the most beautiful sunsets in the world. Some other places which are worth a mention are the San Lorenzo Market, which is a lively outdoor market selling leather, clothing, and souvenirs, and it has a great atmosphere. Another must-see is the Statue of David, an absolutely essential stop on any trip to Florence. The sculpture is thought to be one of the best in the world, and although it's now a replica, you can see it as you're strolling through the city, so swing by and take a look. If you're looking for some nostalgia, check out the cool, old-fashioned photo booths dotted around the streets of Florence. The booths still use real film processing and provide such a fun souvenir from the city. And lastly, go to as many gelato parlors as possible. Vivoli is the oldest ice cream parlor in the city and is still considered one of the best. Many visitors are afraid of visiting Florence because they expect high prices. And while the accommodation prices aren't always the lowest, food can definitely be affordable if you avoid typical tourist traps, such as eating next to Piazza del Duomo or Ponte Vecchio. Most things to do in Florence are actually free too, or cost very little. On to the Italian cuisine. Let me tell you one thing, you will do a lot of eating in Italy. When there is so much deliciousness everywhere, it's hard to resist. But seriously, get ready to have the most amazing pasta, pizzas, and authentic Tuscan dishes while in Florence, and don't be shy, try it all. Although all the food in Florence is amazing, you should make sure you don't get stuck in a tourist trap. You don't need to pay through the nose for your meals here, but you will if you end up in one of these places. If you want to experience true local food, then look out for the signs outside. It's a bad sign if everything is in English. And anywhere right near the tourist attractions will rarely be that great. You don't have to go that far to find better places. Italy is known for its coffee. The king of coffee in Italy is the espresso. It's by far the most commonly consumed coffee if you want to order one you don't even need to specify. The Italians just ask for un caffè. The first thing to know is that milk-based coffees are generally only consumed in the morning with breakfast. And if you order a cappuccino in the afternoon, you'll literally get the side eye. Another food in Florence that you have to try is, of course, pizza. Look for a cafe that has a wood fire oven burning at the back to cook the pizza, to ensure it's authentic, fresh, and piping hot. If you visit Mercato Centrale, you will find some amazing pizzas made by artisan bread makers. The steak in Florence is renowned for its flavor and quality, coming from the Chianina cattle that graze in the surrounding Tuscan countryside. Bistecca alla Fiorentina is the name of the dish, which refers to the T-bone. It's delicious, and if you have the budget, you should definitely try it, but you won't find it cheap. To learn more about the Tuscan cuisine, consider joining an authentic Florence food tour. The tours are led by local foodies who will guide you through the city's best cafes, bars, and restaurants. Florence also has local food and wine festivals called Sagres. You will find these everywhere in the fall. If you are visiting during this time, you won't want to miss one. They are a great experience. One thing to take note of is that Italians eat dinner late, usually around 8 or 9 p.m. And most restaurants don't even open until 7 p.m., so keep that in mind when planning your evening meals. Often when traveling, there's one question that everyone asks when going out for a meal somewhere new. Do you tip? In Florence, there are no expectations for tipping. You can tip if you like, but normally service will already be included. One other thing to note is that restaurants will not bring you the bill when you've finished your meal. You must ask, or you will be there all night. Florence is undoubtedly one of Italy's most iconic cities, but with so much to see and do, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, particularly if you're a first-time visitor. Before you pack your bags and eat your weight in gelato, there are a few things to keep in mind. First off, if you didn't already know, Italians practice the siesta. In Italy, some businesses and even police stations in small towns will close down from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. for the siesta, so always check the opening hours of shops and restaurants, as you might not be able to find somewhere to eat during your usual lunchtime. And don't expect businesses to be open later than 1:30 to 2 p.m. on Saturdays, and many choose to take Sunday off. As for restaurants, many are closed on Mondays, so keep that in mind. If you are looking forward to all the museums here, do yourself a favor and pre-book your tickets if you're visiting in the summer or springtime. The lines are absolutely awful, and without pre-booked tickets, you'll spend ages standing in line instead of enjoying your visit. And even if you start standing in line a few hours before the museum opens, you'll still have to wait, so just pre-book them. Florence Cathedral is breathtakingly beautiful and free to enter, but queuing to get in here can take a long time, and there is no skip the line option available, so be prepared to queue. You could be waiting about an hour easily, and I'm just going to warn you, if you are unsure on whether it is worth it to queue all this time to see inside the cathedral, you might be surprised to know that, although the outside is absolutely stunning, the inside of Florence Cathedral isn't really on the same level. Seriously. Unless you are desperate to go inside just to be able to say you've been in, then you might want to spend your time doing something more worthwhile and avoid being disappointed. This is definitely something I wish I had known before waiting in line for over an hour, so it is up to you. While some locals do speak English, it's not the norm and shouldn't be expected. You'll also find that most signage will be in Italian. Before you leave for your trip, it's a good idea to learn some essential Italian phrases, maybe even download a translation app on your phone to help you whilst you're there. And lastly, cash is expected, especially when it comes to paying for items that are under 10 euros. So keep cash on you at all times. Florence is undeniably one of the greatest cities on earth, and if you follow these travel tips, you'll have a fantastic experience. Whether it's your first time venturing abroad or you're a seasoned traveler, it is always useful to know a bit about the country before you go. I really hope this video has helped you prepare for your trip to Florence, or has inspired you to go. And if you have any tips for visiting Florence you would like to share, leave a comment below. I'd love to read them. Thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more travel guides and insider tips. Let me know in the comments where you would love to see next. Until our next adventure, stay safe, Travel Tribe.